Namo Amitabha Buddha. Dear friends, thank you for being here with me tonight. Have you ever lain awake in the early hours, the house quiet, the phone finally dark, yet your mind refuses to rest? Thoughts about bills, medical tests, work deadlines, or the future of your children keep circling as if something terrible might happen if you stop thinking for even a moment. You feel exhausted, but still, you keep chasing answers, control, certainty. So many of us living in America carry this silent pressure to keep pushing, to keep fixing, to keep holding everything together on our own. But what if that constant chasing is not what protects you? What if the Buddha offered a gentler path? One where peace comes not from running faster, but from knowing when to stop. Tonight, let us begin there. That gentle question about stopping lingers in the air, doesn't it? And almost immediately, something inside you answers back quietly but firmly. If I stop, everything might fall apart. This is where so many tired hearts live. You wake up early before the sun, and the day hasn't even begun yet, but your chest already feels tight. Coffee steams on the kitchen counter. The news murmurs in the background. Your phone lights up with reminders, messages, deadlines. Even in moments that are supposed to be restful, your jaw stays clenched. Your shoulders lifted just a little too high, as if you're bracing for impact. You tell yourself, I just need to try harder, work harder, plan better, worry more carefully so nothing is missed. In America, we are taught this from a young age. Effort is praised. Control is admired. Pushing through exhaustion is worn like a badge of honor. Many of us believe that if we loosen our grip for even a moment, life will punish us for it. Yet, look closely at what happens inside when you keep pushing. At night, when the lights are off and the house is quiet, your body finally lies down, but your mind keeps standing guard. Thoughts line up like cars in traffic. Bills, test results, conversations you wish you had handled differently, worries about your parents, aging your children, growing up in a world that feels uncertain. You turn from one side to the other. The pillow is cool, then warm. Your breath is shallow without you noticing. This is not laziness. This is not weakness. This is a mind that has been working too hard for too long. The Buddha spoke often about effort, but not the kind that burns us from the inside out. He saw clearly that there is a form of striving that actually creates more suffering. When effort is driven by fear, fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of not being enough, it tightens the heart instead of freeing it. Imagine holding a small bird in your hands. If you squeeze because you're afraid it might fly away, you harm the very thing you want to protect. But if you open your palms just enough, the bird rests there calmly. Your hands are still present, still caring, but no longer crushing. Many of us confuse effort with squeezing. We squeeze our children with expectations, even when love is what we intend. We squeeze our bodies, ignoring pain and exhaustion, believing rest must be earned. We squeeze our future, replaying it again and again in our minds, hoping control will bring safety. Inside, something grows weary. There is a quiet moment I often see in people who come to the temple here in the US. It happens just after they light a candle. The flame trembles softly, and for a brief second, their face changes. The lines on their forehead loosen, their breathing slows. It's as if their body remembers something their mind forgot, that peace does not come from pushing the flame to burn brighter. The Buddha taught that suffering arises not simply from life's challenges, but from clinging, the constant tightening around how things must be. We cling to outcomes. We cling to timelines. We cling to the idea that if we don't hold everything together, no one else will. This clinging lives deep in the heart. It whispers, "Don't stop. Don't rest. Don't let go." But here is the gentle truth many have never been shown. There is a difference between caring and clinging. Caring is soft but steady. Clinging is tense and exhausting. When effort comes from wisdom, it feels grounded. When effort comes from fear, it drains us no matter how noble our intentions are. This is why some people can do so much and still feel at peace, while others feel worn down even when nothing appears wrong on the outside. You may recognize this in yourself. The body keeps moving, but joy fades. The mind stays busy, but clarity is gone. Even small things, a delayed reply, an unexpected bill, a child's bad mood can feel overwhelming. It's not because you are failing. It's because you are carrying more than the heart was meant to hold. In Buddhist teaching, this constant pushing is not seen as strength. It is seen as a misunderstanding of how peace actually grows. True effort does not come from tightening the fist. It comes from learning where effort is needed and where it is not. There is a soft bell. Many temples ring at dusk. The sound is not loud. It does not demand attention. Yet when it travels through the air, people pause, even for a breath, even without thinking. The body responds before the mind does. In the same way, the Buddha's path invites us to pause and notice. What am I gripping right now? that is making me tired? What am I trying to control that no amount of effort has truly settled? This kind of noticing is not giving up. It is the beginning of wisdom. When we see clearly that pushing harder has only made us more exhausted, something shifts. Not all at once, not dramatically, but subtly, like shoulders dropping a fraction of an inch, like a breath finally reaching the belly. And in that small shift, a new question quietly appears, replacing the old one. Not, how can I try harder? But what would happen if I stopped squeezing and learned a different way? That question opens the door to the Buddha's teaching on release, one that does not take responsibility away from us, but returns it to a place of calm balance and trust. That quiet question, what would happen if I stopped squeezing, often brings fear before it brings relief. You may feel it right away, a small tightening in the chest, a voice that rises quickly and says, I can't let go. If I do, I'll lose everything. This fear does not come from nowhere. It has been carefully learned. For many of us, the word letting go sounds dangerous. It sounds like giving up, like failing our family, like turning our backs on responsibility. You might picture someone who stops caring, who becomes distant, passive, or cold, someone who shrugs and says, whatever happens, happens while the people around them struggle. No wonder the heart resists. I have seen this misunderstanding many times here in America, even among sincere Buddhist practitioners. People come to the temple on Sundays, incense curling gently upward, the soft sound of a bell settling the room. They bow, they sit quietly, and yet inside their minds are still gripping tightly. When the teaching of non-attachment is mentioned, their faces tense just slightly. The eyes narrow, not in anger, but in worry. If I let go, they wonder, who will take care of my parents? If I let go, they fear, will my children drift away? If I let go, they ask silently, will my life fall apart? This is where we must be very careful, because misunderstanding, non-attachment creates more suffering, not less. The Buddha never taught indifference. He never asked us to abandon love effort or responsibility. What he pointed to was something much subtler and much kinder to the heart. There is a difference between holding with care and holding with fear. You can see it in the body. When fear is present, the muscles tighten, the breath shortens, the jaw locks. Even when the hands are doing good work, the heart feels heavy. When care is present without fear, the movements are the same, but the body feels different. The shoulders soften, The breath deepens. There is room inside. Imagine a mother walking her child across a busy street. She holds the child's hand firmly, but her grip is not panicked. It is steady, attentive, loving. If she were to clutch too tightly, dragging the child would stumble. If she were to let go completely, the child would be unsafe. Wisdom lives in the middle. Non-attachment is not dropping the child's hand. It is releasing the panic in the grip. In Buddhist teaching, attachment is not love. Attachment is love mixed with fear. Love mixed with the demand that things must go a certain way. Love mixed with the belief that I cannot be okay unless this turns out exactly as I hope. This is why attachment exhausts us. We are not just caring. We are guarding, controlling, bracing, rehearsing worst-case scenarios again and again in the mind. You might recognize this pattern late at night. The house is quiet. A small lamp glows in the corner. Perhaps there is a photo of your parents on the shelf, or your children smiling at a younger age. Your heart tightens with love and immediately with worry. Am I doing enough? What if something happens? What if I fail them? That is not love speaking alone. That is attachment whispering through love. The Buddha taught that when attachment is present, even good intentions can turn into a source of suffering. Not because we are wrong to care, but because we are asking our care to do something it cannot do, control the future. Non-attachment begins when we see this clearly. It is the moment you realize that letting go does not mean becoming passive. It means becoming free from the inner demand that life obey your fear. It means doing what can be done today with kindness, responsibility, and presence, while releasing the tight knot of it must turn out this way or else. I once watched an elderly man at a small temple in California. His movements were slow. His hands trembled slightly as he lit a candle. When the flame caught his face, softened, not dramatically, just enough to notice. His shoulders dropped. A faint smile appeared like sunlight touching water. He stood there quietly, hands together, eyes lowered, not because he had stopped caring about his family or his health, but because for that moment he had stopped fighting the universe in his own chest. That is non-attachment. It is not a turning away from life. It is a turning toward life without armor. In simple terms, the Buddha taught that suffering grows when we cling to outcomes. Peace grows when we commit fully to right action, then release the results. This is why non-attachment feels frightening at first. We think the results are what keep us safe. But over time, we begin to see that clinging to results has never truly protected us. It has only kept the mind restless. When we misunderstand non-attachment, we imagine a life without effort or love. When we understand it correctly, we discover a life where effort is guided by wisdom and love is no longer weighed down by fear. This understanding does not come all at once. It arrives gently, often in small moments, like noticing your breath slow when you stop arguing with a thought, or feeling your chest loosen when you say quietly, "I will do my best, and I will trust the rest." As this fear around letting go begins to soften, a new curiosity appears. If non-attachment is not abandonment, if it is not weakness, then what is it truly in the Buddhist teaching? That question opens the door to a deeper understanding, one that explains how release changes the very roots of suffering, not by magic, but through the law of cause and effect, working quietly in the heart. That quiet curiosity, if letting go is not abandonment, then what is it really settles gently in the heart? And in that stillness, the Buddha's teaching begins to reveal itself not as a theory, but as something you can feel in your own body right now. The Buddha offered a simple but life-changing insight: suffering does not come from what happens to us. It comes from how tightly we cling to what we wish would happen or would not happen. You can see this truth clearly when you slow down enough to watch the mind at work. Imagine sitting in your car at a red light. The light is red. Nothing you do will change it. One driver rests their hands lightly on the wheel. Eyes soft, breath steady. Another driver grips the wheel, jaw tight, foot pressing the brake, as if force might hurry the signal along. The situation is identical. The experience is not. Life offers us the same red lights again and again, a medical diagnosis we didn't expect, a job decision that drags on longer than promised, a child who struggles despite our best guidance. These moments are painful. Yes, but pain alone is not suffering. Suffering begins when the mind says, "This should not be happening to me," or "I cannot accept this unless it changes right now." In Buddhist teaching, this tightening is called clinging. It is the invisible fist inside the heart. Clinging sounds like a quiet voice that never rests. If only this were different. Once this is solved, then I'll be okay. I can't be at peace until I know how this ends. Notice how the body responds when these thoughts arise. The chest contracts. The breath becomes shallow. The shoulders lift. Even when nothing else changes, the body begins to suffer. The Buddha did not deny pain. He saw sickness, aging, loss, and uncertainty clearly. What he pointed to was the second layer we add on top, the mental struggle against reality. This struggle drains us far more than the situation itself. There is a moment many people recognize during prayer or meditation at a temple in the US. The incense smoke rises slowly. A bell rings, once its sound lingering in the air. For a brief second, the mind stops arguing with life. The breath drops lower into the body. The eyes soften. Nothing in the world has changed, and yet something inside has. That moment reveals a great truth. Peace is not waiting for the problem to disappear. Peace appears when clinging loosens. This does not mean you stop taking care of your life. Bills still need to be paid. Doctor's appointments still matter. Children still need guidance. The Buddha never taught withdrawal from responsibility. He taught freedom from the inner demand that outcomes must obey our fear. Think of a lotus growing in muddy water. The mud is not the problem. The lotus does not fight the mud. It grows through it. Suffering is not the mud of life. Suffering is believing that the mud should not be there. When we cling, we tell ourselves a story. I cannot be okay until this is resolved. This story keeps the heart on hold sometimes for years. Joy is postponed. Gratitude is delayed. Rest feels undeserved. But the Buddha gently turned this story around. He taught that freedom comes not from fixing every condition, but from understanding the nature of the mind that reacts to conditions. Clinging creates suffering because it ties our well-being to something we cannot fully control. The future, other people's choices, the body's aging, the turning of events. When peace depends on control, peace is always fragile. Letting go does not erase care. It releases the belief that care must be accompanied by tension. You may have felt this difference before without naming it. Perhaps while sitting quietly at night after everyone else was asleep, you took one slow breath that reached all the way down to your belly. In that moment, the problem was still there, but it loosened its grip on you. The heart felt a little wider, the mind a little clearer. That small opening is what the Buddha pointed to. He taught that suffering is not personal failure. It is a natural result of misunderstanding how happiness works. We look outward for stability, while stability is cultivated inwardly through wisdom and awareness. In simple words, the Buddha said, when we cling, we suffer. When we understand, we are free. Understanding does not arrive through force. It grows through gentle seeing. Seeing how often the mind argues with reality. Seeing how often fear disguises itself as responsibility. Seeing how much energy is spent resisting what already is. When this seeing deepens, something remarkable happens. The same challenges remain, but the heart responds differently. There is space between the situation and the suffering. Space to breathe, space to choose, space to act with clarity instead of panic. A woman once described this shift after years of anxiety about her family. She said nothing dramatic had changed. Her parents were still aging. Her children still faced difficulties. But she noticed that her face in the mirror looked different. The lines of strain around her mouth had softened. Her eyes no longer scanned for danger, even in quiet moments. Peace had not come because life became easy. It came because clinging had loosened. This is the beginning of true relief. When we understand that suffering arises from clinging, a natural question appears. If clinging creates suffering, what happens when clinging stops? How does that inner release actually change our lives? Not just emotionally, but in the deeper flow of cause and effect the Buddha spoke of. That question leads us into the heart of the Buddha's teaching on karma. Not as punishment or reward, but as the quiet shaping of our lives through the state of our minds. That question about karma does not come with thunder or fear. It arrives quietly, like a bell heard from far away. If the state of the mind shapes our lives, then every moment of clinging or release matters more than we ever realized. In the Buddha's teaching, karma is not fate. It is not punishment. It is not a reward handed down by some outside force. Karma is simply cause and effect moving through the mind moment by moment, shaping how life unfolds. And this is where the meaning of letting go becomes very clear. Every day, we create karma in 3 ways: through what we do, through what we say, and most powerfully, through what we think and hold in the heart. The body may be still, the mouth may be quiet, but the mind can be running non-stop, planting seeds over and over again. When fear fills the mind, fear becomes a cause. When resentment is replayed, resentment becomes a cause. When worry tightens the heart, worry becomes a cause. These causes do not stay in the mind. They ripple outward, shaping our tone of voice, our decisions, our relationships, even the way our bodies carry stress and illness. This is how karma grows, not suddenly, but steadily, like water wearing down stone. Letting go in the Buddha's teaching is not about erasing the past. It is about stopping the creation of new causes right now. This is why true release happens first in the mind. You may have noticed this in a small, ordinary moment Perhaps someone said something that usually triggers you. Your chest tightens, the familiar reaction rising quickly. But this time, something different happens. You pause. You feel your breath. You choose not to follow the thought all the way. The reaction softens. The moment passes. Nothing dramatic occurred, but something important did. A seed was not planted. This is what it means to stop creating new karma in the mind. The Buddha taught that when we cling, the mind is never at rest. It keeps reaching forward, trying to secure the future, replaying the past, arguing with what is already here. Each of these movements leaves an imprint. Over time, the mind becomes trained in tension. But when we release even a little, the training changes. I once watched a woman sitting quietly at a temple in the early evening. The hall was dim. A single candle flickered near the altar. Outside, traffic moved steadily, the sound of tires passing like a distant ocean. She sat with her hands resting loosely in her lap. Her face was not frozen in a smile, but there was a softness there. Her breathing was slow and deep. You could feel that her mind was no longer chasing anything. That softness is not accidental. It is the result of causes that were no longer being fed. When the mind releases clinging, it stops fueling fear-based thoughts. When fear-based thoughts are not fed, actions become clearer, words become kinder, decisions come from steadiness instead of panic. Over time, life itself begins to respond differently, not because the world has changed, but because the causes have. This is the quiet power of karma. Many people misunderstand karma as something mysterious or distant, something that belongs only to the future or to another lifetime. But the Buddha pointed to karma as something very immediate. You can feel it forming as a tightening in the chest. You can feel it easing as the breath deepens. Letting go is the moment you decide not to add more weight to the scale. Consider how often the mind says, "What if? What if this goes wrong? What if I lose this? What if I fail them?" Each what if carries fear forward into the next moment. When these thoughts are believed again and again, they become a habit. That habit shapes karma. Letting go does not mean pretending these thoughts do not exist. It means seeing them clearly and choosing not to build a home inside them. In Buddhist practice, this is called wise attention. You notice the thought, the feeling, the urge to control, and you gently step back. Like watching clouds pass across the sky, you do not chase them. You do not fight them. You let them move on. In that moment, the mind is no longer planting seeds of fear. This is why letting go feels like relief in the body. The shoulders drop, the breath slows, the heart feels less crowded. You are not abandoning your responsibilities. You are simply no longer carrying tomorrow's burden on today's back. For those living busy lives in America, juggling work, family health, and constant demands, this teaching is especially important. The culture often tells us that worry is a form of love, that stress proves we care. But the Buddha offered a different view. He showed that care guided by wisdom creates peace, while care mixed with fear creates suffering. When you stop creating karma rooted in fear, something subtle but profound happens. You begin to respond instead of react. You begin to act from clarity instead of urgency. Even when challenges remain, the mind is no longer drowning in them. This does not mean the past disappears. Old karma may still ripen. Difficult circumstances may still arise. But without new fear-based causes being added, those difficulties do not multiply. They pass more cleanly like rain falling on open ground instead of pooling in a tight container. Letting go then is an act of deep responsibility. It is choosing not to pass fear forward. It is choosing not to let yesterday's pain dictate tomorrow's state of mind. You may feel this truth in your own experience. Think of a time when you finally stopped arguing with a situation you could not change. Even if sadness was present, there may have been a strange calm underneath. A sense of, I can meet this. That calm is not resignation. It is the mind no longer creating extra suffering. This is the heart of the Buddha's teaching on release. When we let go in this way, we are not waiting for life to become perfect. We are changing the causes that shape our inner world. And as the inner world changes, the outer world begins to meet us differently. From this place, practices like mindfulness and the remembrance of the Buddha take on new meaning. They are not rituals meant to escape life, but tools that help the mind stay free. Free from constantly planting the seeds of fear. As this understanding settles, a natural question follows. If the mind can stop creating harmful karma, how can it be trained to remain steady, especially in moments of stress and uncertainty? That question opens the door to a gentle, powerful practice, one that helps the heart stay anchored when life feels unsteady and guides the mind back to peace, breath by breath. That understanding about stopping the creation of fear-based karma becomes very real in certain places. Places where control slips through our fingers, no matter how tightly we hold on. One of those places is a hospital waiting room. There was a mother named Emily who sat in one such room late one afternoon. The chairs were vinyl, slightly cracked at the edges, cold even through her coat. A television murmured the news on mute captions scrolling along the bottom. Every so often, a nurse passed by with a clipboard, shoes squeaking softly against the polished floor. Emily's hands rested in her lap, but they were never still. Her fingers twisted the strap of her bag, then smoothed it, then twisted it again. Her phone lay face down beside her, as if turning it over might somehow summon the answer she was waiting for. Her son was behind those closed doors. Minutes stretched strangely there. Sometimes they rushed by in a blur of noise and movement. Other times, they slowed until each second felt heavy like a drop of water about to fall. Emily's breath stayed high in her chest. Each inhale felt unfinished. Inside her mind, the same thoughts circled again and again. What if the test shows something serious? What if I missed the signs earlier? What if I didn't do enough? With each question, her shoulders crept higher, her jaw tightening as if bracing for bad news. This was love. Yes, but love wrapped tightly around fear. At one point, her eyes drifted to a small corner of the waiting room where someone had placed a simple image of the Buddha. It was easy to miss. Just a quiet print on the wall. The Buddha's face was calm, eyes lowered, lips curved in a gentle, half smile that did not ask for anything. Emily was not thinking about teachings or philosophy in that moment. She was just tired, so deeply tired. Her body ached from holding herself together since morning. She closed her eyes for a brief second. The sounds of the hospital softened. The distant beep of a machine. The hush of voices behind a desk. Her breath wavered, then slowed slightly. In that small pause, something inside her shifted, not because her situation had changed, but because she noticed how much she was fighting it. A thought arose quietly, almost shyly. I can't control what happens behind that door. At first, the thought scared her. It felt like standing on the edge of something unknown. Her instinct was to push it away and tighten her grip again. But she didn't. She let the truth sit there for a moment. Her hands loosened in her lap. She took a deeper breath than she had all day. It traveled all the way down, filling her lungs, easing the tight band around her chest. The next breath followed more naturally. Emily did not stop caring about her son. Not for a second. But she stopped punishing herself with the belief that fear could protect him. In that moment, she did something very simple. She remembered a short phrase she had learned long ago at a temple she sometimes visited on weekends. Not a long prayer, just a gentle remembrance. She whispered it under her breath, barely moving her lips. The sound was soft, almost lost in the room, but it gave her mind something steady to rest on. Each repetition slowed her thoughts just enough for them to stop crashing into one another. This was not resignation. This was not giving up. This was the mind choosing not to add more fear to an already painful moment. In the Buddha's teaching, this is exactly how suffering begins to ease. Not because the outer situation resolves instantly, but because the inner storm quiets. Emily was no longer planting new seeds of panic in her mind. She was meeting the moment as it was without asking it to be different. Her face changed subtly. The tightness around her eyes softened. Her breathing found a rhythm. Anyone passing by might not have noticed anything dramatic, but if you looked closely, you would see it. A softness, a steadiness, like water finally settling after being stirred. This is how letting go works in real life. It does not erase uncertainty. It removes the extra suffering we create by resisting uncertainty. The Buddha taught that when the mind stops grasping karma, shifts not in some distant, abstract way, but right here, in the quality of our awareness. Fear-based thoughts had been shaping Emily's inner world all day. With each what if they tightened her body and clouded her mind. When she chose to pause, breathe, and anchor her attention, those causes were no longer being fed. A nurse eventually called her name. Emily stood up. Her legs felt unsteady, but her mind was clearer. Whatever news was coming, she knew she could meet it without breaking. That knowledge did not come from certainty. It came from letting go of the belief that fear was necessary. This is the deep compassion in the Buddha's teaching. He did not promise that our loved ones would never suffer. He showed us how to suffer less while loving fully. He showed us how to stop passing fear forward from one thought to the next, from one moment to the next. Many people believe that if they stop worrying, they stop caring. But in truth, worry exhausts love. Letting go protects it. Emily's story is not unique. You may recognize yourself in it, waiting for test results, for a phone call, for an answer that feels too heavy to carry. In those moments, the teaching becomes very simple and very real. You can still act. You can still love. You can still show up fully. And at the same time, you can choose not to add new fear to the moment. That choice, made again and again, is how karma changes. Not through force, not through denial, but through a steady, compassionate release that begins in the heart. From this place, practices like mindfulness and remembering the Buddha become more than comfort. They become anchors, ways to remain present when life feels unsteady, and to let wisdom rather than fear guide the next breath. That steady calm Emily felt did not come from a miracle or a sudden answer. It came from having something solid to stand on when the ground beneath her felt unsteady. That is the true purpose of remembering the Buddha, not to beg for outcomes, but to remain upright when the heart wants to collapse. Many people misunderstand chanting the Buddha's name. They believe it is a request, a bargain, or a desperate plea. Please fix this. Please make it go away. When the mind approaches practice this way, it stays restless. It keeps checking for results. It keeps asking, is it working yet? But the Buddha never taught remembrance as a way to control life. He taught it as a way to steady the mind. Think of a lighthouse during a storm. The light does not calm the ocean. The waves still crash. The wind still howls. But the light gives direction. It keeps ships from losing themselves in the dark. Chanting works in the same way. It does not remove uncertainty. It gives the heart something trustworthy to return to. When Emily whispered the Buddha's name, she was not asking for a guarantee. She was anchoring her attention. Each gentle repetition gathered her scattered thoughts and brought them home one by one. Her breath followed the sound. Her body followed the breath. The panic had no room to grow. This is how the practice works on a very human level. When the mind is overwhelmed, it needs simplicity. One phrase, one sound, one steady rhythm. The Buddha's name carries centuries of compassion, but you do not need to understand all of that for it to help. You only need to let it occupy the space where fear keeps repeating itself. In Buddhist teaching, this is called recollection. You remember the qualities the Buddha embodied: calm, clarity, compassion, unshakable presence. As you remember these qualities, the mind begins to mirror them, even if only faintly at first. You can see this in the body. The shoulders settle, the brow softens, the breath lengthens without effort. The mind stops jumping ahead and returns to where the body actually is. This is not imagination. It is training. The Buddha taught that the mind becomes shaped by what it repeatedly holds. When it holds fear, fear becomes familiar. When it holds steadiness, steadiness becomes familiar. Chanting is not magic. It is repetition with intention. Many people living busy lives in America struggle with this idea. They are used to practices that aim at productivity or achievement. They want a method that fixes, solves, improves. But spiritual practice does something quieter. It creates space. And then, in that space, wise action can arise. Chanting the Buddha's name does not ask you to deny pain. It allows you to feel pain without being swallowed by it. You may have noticed moments when words fail you, when you are too tired to think clearly, when your heart feels raw. In those moments, complex teachings are hard to access. But a simple sound, spoken softly, rhythmically, can still reach you. This is why the Buddha offered practices that are gentle and accessible. Not everyone can sit in long meditation. Not everyone has the strength to analyze their thoughts. But anyone can return to a sound that carries calm. Some people worry that if they stop asking for outcomes, nothing will change. But notice what actually happens when the mind becomes steady. Decisions become clearer. Words become kinder. Actions become more skillful. From that steadiness, life is met more wisely. In this way, chanting does not replace action. It supports it. A father who chants quietly before speaking to his child responds with patience instead of anger. A woman who returns to the Buddha's name before a medical appointment enters the room with dignity instead of panic. A caregiver who steadies their breath with remembrance does not burn out as quickly. This is standing firm in the middle of uncertainty. The Buddha taught that true refuge is not found in outcomes, but in qualities of mind that cannot be taken away. When you remember the Buddha, you are remembering your own capacity for calm awareness. You are choosing not to let fear dictate the next moment. There is a reason temples often ring a bell before chanting. The sound lingers, then fades. It invites the mind to settle. Chanting continues this invitation, moment after moment, breath after breath. You do not need to chant loudly. You do not need perfect pronunciation. The power is not in volume or performance. It is in sincerity and steadiness. A whisper carried by intention is enough. When chanting becomes about standing firm rather than asking something shifts, you stop measuring the practice by results and start feeling its effect in your body. The mind becomes less reactive. The heart becomes less crowded. This is especially important during times of waiting for news, waiting for change, waiting for clarity. Waiting often triggers fear because it feels like doing nothing. But chanting is not nothing. It is an active choice to care for the state of the mind while life unfolds. In Buddhist teaching, this is wise effort. Effort that does not exhaust. Effort that does not create new suffering. Effort that supports both compassion and clarity. When Emily stood up to meet the nurse, she carried this steadiness with her. Whatever words were coming next, she was present. She was not braced for disaster. She was open. That openness did not make her weak. It made her resilient. This is the gift of remembering the Buddha. Not a promise that life will always be gentle, but a way to remain gentle inside life. As this understanding deepens, the practice becomes even more grounded. Chanting no longer feels like something you do only in emergencies. It becomes a companion available in traffic, in waiting rooms, and quiet kitchens before dawn. And from that steady ground, a natural next step appears, learning how to bring this remembrance into the body itself through breath and posture, so that calm is not just remembered, but lived moment by moment. That sense of steadiness can stay with you, especially at the end of the day, when the world finally grows quiet and the mind often grows loud. Night has a way of bringing everything back unfinished, conversations, worries that waited patiently for the lights to go out, questions that feel heavier in the dark. This is why the Buddha encouraged simple, gentle practices before sleep, not long rituals, not complicated techniques, just enough to help the heart set down what it has been carrying. So tonight, imagine this. You are in your bedroom. The lights are dim. Maybe a small lamp glows softly. Outside, the street has settled. A car passes now, and then tires whispering against the road. Inside, the house breathes with you. You lie down or sit comfortably at the edge of the bed. Your body finally has permission to stop performing. This practice takes about 3 minutes, nothing more. First, bring your attention to your breath. You don't need to change it yet. Just notice. Notice where you feel it most clearly. Perhaps at the tip of the nose. Perhaps in the chest. Perhaps in the gentle rise and fall of the belly. After a few natural breaths, allow the next inhale to be slightly deeper. Let it travel all the way down, as if filling a quiet space inside you that has been waiting all day. Then, let the exhale fall out of you slow and unforced. With each out-breath, imagine setting something down. A worry you carried through meetings, a conversation that replayed itself, a question that did not find an answer. You don't need to solve anything right now. You are simply placing these things on the ground beside the bed where they can rest until morning. As the breath settles into a steady rhythm, gently bring to mind the Buddha's name. You may say it softly or only in your heart. Let it move with the breath like a slow tide. Inhale. A calm presence enters. Exhale. The day loosens its grip. There is no rush, no need to repeat perfectly. If the mind wanders, you notice and return. Just as you would guide a tired child back to bed without scolding. This is not about concentration. It is about kindness. Now, bring your attention to the body itself. Notice the forehead. If it feels tight, imagine warmth spreading there like late afternoon sun. Notice the eyes resting in their sockets, no longer scanning, no longer searching. Let the jaw soften, the tongue resting gently. Feel the shoulders. They may have been holding up the world all day. With the next exhale, let them drop just a little, as if someone kind has placed a hand there and said, "You can rest now." As the body softens, speak these words quietly in your heart, not as a demand, but as a truth. You are learning to trust. I have done what I could today. Let the words land. You may feel resistance at first. The mind might argue, "What about this? What about that?" When that happens, return to the breath. Return to the sound of the Buddha's name. You are not dismissing responsibility. You are recognizing a limit. Then gently add the next line, "I release what is not mine to carry tonight." As you say this, imagine the mind opening its fist. Imagine the tight knot in the chest, loosening one strand at a time. The problems do not disappear, but they no longer sit on your heart. In the Buddha's teaching, this moment is very important. This is where new karma is either created or allowed to fade. When the mind stops feeding fear, fear weakens. When the mind rests in awareness, awareness grows. You are not forcing sleep. You are creating the conditions for peace. If thoughts continue to arise, let them pass like clouds across a dark sky. You do not need to chase them or push them away. The sky remains even as the clouds move on. Stay with this for a few more breaths. Inhale, feeling supported by the bed beneath you. Exhale, allowing gravity to do its work. Notice how the body feels now compared to a few minutes ago. The breath may be slower, the chest less tight, the mind less crowded. This is not an accident. This is the natural response when the heart stops fighting the moment. Before letting sleep take you, bring one more gentle intention into the mind. Think of someone you love, perhaps a parent, a child, a friend. Let their face appear softly without strain. With the next breath, offer this simple wish. May you be safe. May you be at peace. May you be held in compassion tonight. As you offer this, notice how your own heart responds. Often it opens even more. This is the quiet exchange the Buddha spoke of. When care flows outward, the inner world becomes lighter. Now return to the breath one last time. There is nothing else to do, no effort to make, no future to plan. Sleep may come quickly, or it may come slowly. Either way is fine. The practice has already done its work. Each night you do this even briefly, you are teaching the mind a new way to end the day. Not with struggle, not with fear, but with release. And over time, this gentle habit becomes a refuge, a place you can return to night after night, where the heart learns again and again that it is allowed to rest. As the nights grow quieter and the heart learns how to rest, another truth slowly comes into view, one that touches the deepest place of all. Many of us are not tired because we do not love enough. We are tired because we love while holding our breath. You can feel this kind of love in the body. The phone rings late and your chest tightens before you even answer. A message from your child appears and your shoulders lift as if preparing for bad news. You sit at the kitchen table thinking about your parents, your partner, your family far away. And even when nothing is wrong, your heart feels heavy, like it is carrying a load that never fully comes down. This is love mixed with fear. In many families, especially those shaped by sacrifice and responsibility, love has quietly learned to clench. We worry so much because we care so deeply. We believe that if we stop worrying, something precious might slip through our fingers. But the Buddha taught that love does not need tension to survive. There is a scene that plays out in many homes. A mother stands by the window, watching the headlights of her child's car disappear down the street. Her hands rest on the sill, fingers gripping just a little too tightly. Her mind follows the car, but after it is gone, every siren in the distance pulls at her chest. Every late text makes her heart jump. She loves fiercely, and she is exhausted. When love is tied to control, it becomes draining. Not because love is wrong, but because control asks the heart to do something impossible to guarantee safety in an uncertain world. The Buddha spoke of compassion as something spacious. It holds, but it does not squeeze. It stays close, but it does not demand ownership over outcomes. This is why compassion nourishes the heart, while attachment depletes it. You can see the difference when you look closely. Attachment says, "I love you, and I need you to be okay in order for me to be okay." Compassion says, "I love you, and I will walk with you through whatever comes." One demands certainty, the other offers presence. In Buddhist teaching, this distinction is very important. Love that is bound to fear creates suffering for both the one who loves and the one who is loved. Love that is rooted in wisdom becomes a source of strength instead of exhaustion. You may notice how this plays out in your own life. When you try to manage every detail of someone else's path, your body stays tense. Your sleep grows shallow. Your words become sharp without meaning to. Even moments of joy are edged with anxiety, as if something might go wrong at any second. But when you practice letting go, not of love, but of control, something changes. There is a softness that begins to appear. Your voice lowers. Your listening deepens. You still care, but you are no longer bracing yourself against the future. Love becomes something you offer freely, not something you use to protect yourself from fear. The Buddha did not ask us to love less. He taught us how to love without burning ourselves out. This is especially important in families where roles are heavy caregivers, parents, children who feel responsible for everyone else. In many homes, love has meant enduring, quietly sacrificing without rest, carrying worry like a badge of honor. Over time, this kind of love becomes painful. Letting go invites a different way. It allows you to show up with clarity instead of panic, with steadiness instead of urgency, with warmth instead of constant vigilance. Imagine sitting with someone you love who is struggling. Instead of rushing to fix, explain, or control, you breathe. You feel your feet on the floor. You listen without rehearsing answers in your head. Your face remains open. Your presence alone becomes supportive. This is love that does not exhaust. The Buddha taught that when the heart is free from clinging, it can respond more skillfully. When you are not consumed by fear of loss, you can see what is actually needed in the moment. Sometimes, what is needed is action. Sometimes, it is silence. Sometimes, it is simply staying close. Letting go makes this discernment possible. It also allows love to be mutual rather than one-sided. When we cling, we often give from an empty place, hoping our effort will guarantee a certain result. When we release, we give from fullness, trusting that love does not have to control to be real. There is a quiet image often used in Buddhist teaching, the image of open hands. Open hands can hold offer and receive. Closed fists can only grip. When your love is offered with open hands, it flows more easily. You can support your parents without losing yourself. You can guide your children without carrying their entire future on your shoulders. You can care deeply without being consumed. This does not mean you become distant. It means you become present. You may notice that when you practice letting go, even your body responds differently around loved ones. The tightness in the chest eases. The breath moves more freely. Your smile comes without effort. These small changes are not just emotional. They are signs that love is no longer fighting reality. In Buddhist understanding, this kind of love creates good conditions not only for others but for yourself. When love is not fueled by fear, it does not plant seeds of resentment, exhaustion, or quiet anger. It plants seeds of patience, understanding, and peace. This is how letting go becomes an act of generosity. You give others the gift of your presence instead of your anxiety. You give yourself the gift of rest without guilt. As this way of loving deepens, something beautiful happens. Relationships feel lighter. Conversations feel more honest. Even when difficulties arise, they do not consume the heart in the same way. Love remains, but suffering loosens its grip. This is not something to force. It grows naturally as you practice awareness, compassion, and release moment by moment, breath by breath. You may still feel concern. You may still feel tenderness. These are human, but you no longer drown in them. You learn to stand steady inside love rather than collapsing under its weight. The Buddha taught that true love wishes happiness for others without insisting on control. It trusts life while remaining engaged. It is both strong and gentle at the same time. As the heart learns this balance, it becomes ready for a deeper expression of care, one that extends beyond the self and the family, reaching outward with intention and kindness. From this place of steadiness, the act of dedicating goodness, of offering well wishes and merit, arises naturally. And in that offering, love finds a new kind of rest. As the heart softens and love learns to breathe again, there comes a quiet moment when caring naturally wants to move outward, not to fix, not to control, simply to offer. This is where dedication, what many Buddhists call sharing the goodness, begins to feel natural, not forced. You may notice it as a gentle warmth in the chest, a feeling that what you have cultivated tonight does not belong only to you. Like a candle lighting another candle, the flame does not diminish, it spreads. In many temples, this moment is marked by a low bell. The sound travels slowly, lingering in the air before fading. People bring their hands together, not out of habit, but because the body understands something. The mind is still learning that goodness grows when it is shared. Dedication is not a transaction. It is not saying, "I did this, now give me that." The Buddha never taught it that way. Dedication is an act of direction. You take the calm, clarity, and kindness that arose in your mind, and you point it gently toward others. Think of a river. When water is allowed to flow, it stays fresh. When it is dammed and held only for itself, it grows stagnant. The same is true for the heart. So now, in this quiet space, allow yourself to pause. Feel your breath moving naturally. Feel the body supported, held, no longer bracing against anything. And then, without rushing, bring to mind the people who live closest to your heart. Perhaps you see your parents as they are now, or as they were years ago. You may notice the lines on their faces, the way their shoulders have changed with time. Perhaps you remember small gestures, a hand on your back when you were tired, a meal prepared without asking, a sacrifice that was never spoken out loud. If they are still living, let your heart turn toward them with gratitude. If they have passed, let your heart turn toward them with tenderness. You might feel emotion rising. That is okay. Let it move through you. Now quietly speak these words, not as a formula, but as a sincere wish. May any goodness I have cultivated tonight be shared with my parents. May they be safe. May they be at peace. May their hearts be light. Notice what happens inside as you say this. Often, the chest opens just a little more. The breath deepens. There is relief in not carrying love alone. Next, bring to mind your children or the younger ones you care about. You may see their faces as they sleep, or remember their laughter, their worries, their growing independence. You may feel concern for the world they are inheriting. Offer them the same gentle wish. May you be protected. May you grow with wisdom. May you find peace in your own hearts. As you offer this, notice how love feels different when it is not tied to fear. It becomes spacious, supportive, trusting. Now widen the circle. Think of someone who is struggling, perhaps someone in a hospital bed tonight, or someone lying awake with anxiety, or someone feeling alone in a quiet apartment. You do not need to know their name. You only need to know that suffering exists just as it does in your own life. Offer this wish. May you be free from fear. May you find comfort. May you know that you are not alone. In Buddhist teaching, this act of dedication has deep meaning. It trains the heart to move beyond self-centered concern. It reminds us that goodness is not something to cling to, but something to circulate. When the heart learns to give without grasping, it becomes lighter. This is also how dedication shapes karma. When goodness is directed outward, it weakens the habit of self-absorption. It interrupts the cycle of fear-based thinking. It creates conditions for compassion to arise more easily in daily life. Over time, this changes how we speak, how we act, how we respond to difficulty. Dedication does not erase challenges. It changes the quality of the mind that meets them. You may notice that after offering these wishes, the body feels different. The tightness in the chest eases. The mind feels less crowded. This is not imagination. It is the natural result of letting the heart move freely. Now, if it feels right, bring the dedication even wider. Think of all beings, those you love, those you do not know, even those you struggle to understand. Imagine the goodness you have cultivated tonight, spreading quietly like ripples across still water. Offer this final wish. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free from unnecessary suffering. May all beings find peace. Let the words settle. There is no need to strain, no need to feel anything special. Dedication works quietly, just like the rest of the Buddha's path. In this moment, notice how the heart feels when it is not holding everything for itself. There is a sense of rightness, of balance, of connection. This is not something mystical. It is something deeply human. The Buddha taught that when we dedicate goodness, we loosen the boundaries of the self. We stop living as if we are separate, isolated, responsible for everything alone. We remember that we are part of a larger web of care and intention. As this understanding takes root, dedication becomes less about words and more about how you live. Your patience increases, your reactions soften, your presence becomes a gift to others without effort. For now, rest in this feeling. Let the breath move naturally. Let the heart remain open without forcing. Whatever peace has arisen tonight does not need to be held tightly. It has already been shared. And in that sharing, the heart finds a deeper kind of rest, one that does not depend on circumstances, but on the quiet joy of offering goodness into the world. That gentle sense of openness can stay with you now, like a soft blanket placed over the heart. Nothing more needs to be done. Nothing more needs to be figured out tonight. The room around you has settled. The light is low. Shadows rest quietly along the walls. The sounds of the day have thinned out, just the hum of the house, the distant movement of air, the steady presence of your own breathing. Your body knows this hour. It has been waiting for permission to let go. So, let it. Notice how your face feels when you are no longer bracing. The muscles around the eyes loosen. The brow smooths. The mouth rests in its natural shape, neither smiling nor frowning, just at ease. Your shoulders sink into the bed as if gravity itself is kind. This is not something you forced. It arrived because you stopped arguing with the moment. The Buddha taught that rest is not earned by exhaustion. It is allowed by understanding. When the mind sees clearly, sees that clinging only creates more strain, it naturally releases. Like a hand opening after holding something too tightly for too long. Tonight, you have done enough. You breathed, you noticed, you cared, and you let go of control. That is right effort. You may feel the mind trying to pull you back into plans or worries. That's okay. Thoughts may come and go like distant headlights passing on a quiet street. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to push them away. They can pass without needing your attention. Each time you notice a thought drifting by, gently return to the feeling of the bed supporting you. The simple truth that you are held. The steady rise and fall of your breath, moving without effort. In Buddhist understanding, this moment, this simple resting is already a form of practice. You are no longer creating suffering in the mind. You are allowing the heart to be as it is without demand. You might remember how earlier effort was described as something that could either drain or nourish. This is nourishing effort. The effort to stop struggling. There is a quiet dignity in allowing yourself to rest. It does not mean you have given up on your life, your family, or your responsibilities. It means you trust that wisdom does not require constant tension to function. Tomorrow will come, whether you worry or not. Tonight is for letting the body and mind recover their balance. If it feels right, you may place a hand gently over your chest or your belly. Feel the warmth there. Feel the rhythm of life continuing without your supervision. This simple contact can remind you that you are safe enough right now. The Buddha often spoke of peace as something close, not distant. Not something to chase, but something to stop obscuring. Like the moon reflected in water when the water is still, the reflection appears on its own. Your stillness tonight allows that reflection. You may notice a faint sense of gratitude arising, not loud or dramatic, just a quiet appreciation. Gratitude for having made it through the day. Gratitude for the moments of kindness you gave or received. Gratitude for this pause, this permission to rest. Let that gratitude be gentle. It does not need to turn into a list. As sleep approaches, there is nothing you need to hold on to. No lesson to remember perfectly. No promise to keep. The understanding you touch tonight will remain even as consciousness softens. Like a seed placed in good soil, it will continue to grow quietly. If sleep comes quickly, allow it. If it comes slowly, allow that too. You are not failing either way. In Buddhist teaching, patience with the present moment is a deep form of compassion. You are offering that compassion to yourself now. You are not asking your body to perform. You are allowing it to settle. Imagine the heart as a lake at night. Earlier, it may have been stirred by wind. Now, the surface is smoothing out. The reflections grow clearer. The depth remains calm, even if a few ripples pass across the top. That calm is already here. You may quietly repeat just once or twice. If it comforts you, I am allowed to rest. Let the words fade on their own. There is nothing else to listen for, nothing else to prepare. The day has ended. The night is holding you. The Buddha's path is not about carrying the weight of the world alone. It is about learning when to set the burden down. Tonight, you have set it down. So rest. Let the breath guide you effortlessly. Let the body sink naturally. Let the mind soften without instruction. Tomorrow will take care of itself, one moment at a time. For now, in this quiet space, you can finally stop chasing. Tonight, you can rest. As the night holds you in its quiet embrace, there is a soft knowing that settles in nothing dramatic, nothing loud. Just the sense that something has shifted, even if you cannot fully explain it. The breath moves more freely. The heart feels a little lighter. And somewhere beneath thought, a simple truth takes root. Life continues, and you are still here, able to meet it. Morning will come as it always does. Light will touch the edges of the world again. And when it does, you will not be asked to become someone new overnight. You will simply be invited to begin again gently. The Buddha taught that every day is a field, every moment a seed. What matters most is not the harvest we demand, but the intention with which we plant. Tonight, by resting instead of fighting, by releasing instead of clinging, you have already changed the soil of the mind. Tomorrow, you will have many chances to plant new seeds. You may wake up to familiar concerns. The body may still feel tired. Responsibilities will still be there, waiting patiently. But something within you will be different. There will be a small space between what happens and how you respond. In that space lives choice. You might notice it when the day begins. The sound of the alarm, the quiet kitchen before others wake, light filtering through a window. In these ordinary moments, you can pause for just a breath longer than usual. You can feel your feet on the floor. you can remember the steadiness you touched last night. This is how new karma begins, not with grand promises, but with small conscious moments. The Buddha did not teach karma as destiny carved in stone. He taught it as movement shaped again and again by the state of the mind. When the mind is rushed, actions rush. When the mind is fearful, words carry fear. When the mind is calm, even simple actions carry clarity. Tomorrow, when a challenge appears, you may feel the old habit rise, the urge to tighten, to control, to worry ahead of time. When that happens, you do not need to judge yourself. Simply notice. Breathe. Remember that you are allowed to respond from steadiness instead of fear. That choice alone is a new seed. You may choose to speak one sentence more gently. You may choose to listen without interrupting. You may choose to pause before reacting. These small choices matter more than you realize. They shape relationships. They shape the body's stress. They shape the direction of the heart. The Buddha taught that wise effort is effort that does not harm, effort that does not exhaust the mind or harden the heart. Tomorrow's practice is not about doing more. It is about doing what is needed with awareness and letting go of what is not. You might remember the image of open hands. Tomorrow, you can carry that image with you. Hold your responsibilities with care, but not with panic. Offer your love without squeezing. Do what is in front of you and release the rest. This is how peace becomes practical. As days pass, this way of living begins to feel natural. You may find that sleep comes more easily, that conversations feel less strained, that even difficult moments do not linger as long in the body. This is not because life has become perfect, but because the mind has learned how to stop adding unnecessary suffering. In Buddhist understanding, this is a quiet form of liberation, not escaping the world, but meeting it with wisdom. You may also find that compassion flows more easily to yourself and to others. When you are not consumed by your own fear, you have more room to see the pain in others without being overwhelmed by it. You become steadier, more reliable, more present. This is a great gift, even if no one ever names it. Tomorrow and the days that follow, you will forget sometimes. Old habits will return. That is human. The Buddha never asked for perfection. He asked for mindfulness, the willingness to begin again. Each time you remember, you plant a new seed. Each time you pause instead of rushing, you change the direction of karma. Each time you choose kindness over fear, you build a refuge that no circumstance can take away. Before we part tonight, take one last quiet breath. Feel the body where it is. Feel the simplicity of being alive. Let this intention form gently in your heart, without pressure. Tomorrow, I will plant seeds of calm, clarity, and compassion, one moment at a time. You do not need to know how everything will turn out. You only need to know how you will meet the next moment. May you wake with steadiness. May your actions be guided by wisdom. May your heart remain open even when life is uncertain. May the goodness you cultivate continue to spread quietly and naturally. If this sharing has brought you even a small sense of peace, you are welcome to carry it forward. You may return here whenever you need a reminder to slow down and begin again. If you wish, you can gently support this path by staying connected, by listening again, by sharing this message with someone who may need rest, or by adding your quiet presence to this community. For now, let the night finish its work. Tomorrow will come, and when it does, you will be ready, not because you are holding tighter, but because you have learned how to let go and plant anew. Namo Amitabha Buddha.